Happy Tuesday, Seattle hockey fans. You woke up just like me, knowing that Matty Beniers is indeed your Rookie of the Year. Dave Haxtell didn't quite win, but we will talk about some of the winners. We will get you ready for draft coverage and start talking about the rumor mill regarding a certain defenseman in the Pacific Division. All that and more coming up on Locked On Kraken.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
Hey, what do you say, Seattle hockey fans? Welcome to another episode of Locked On Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we bring you your favorite team every single day. The everydayers, you know, we've been hawking and watching and talking about the Calder Memorial Award, and finally we can say that our guy is the winner. We're going to get into all of that on this episode of Locked On Kraken, available wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Hello, YouTubers. This episode of Locked On Kraken is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. But we are going to start with the winner. Oh, I love this photo that they used. Matty Beniers, your Calder Memorial Trophy winner. Talked about this a little bit on yesterday's episode. It was the awards were just getting started as the episode went to air. But Matty Beniers, officially a Calder a Calder Memorial Trophy winner. Calder Cup something else, and unfortunately our Rookie of the Year for the AHL didn't quite hoist that one. But anyway, there's a really great clip of Matty Beniers and his acceptance speech. He thanked his family. He says he loves his teammates. He loves us Seattle hockey fans. So it was cute. It was super cute. But here's just a few snippets of what Matty Beniers said after the awards to media.
Feels great, just honored and thankful to, I've received it, and just so many people to thank, and, just happy to be here too. Yeah, I think so. You want to do whatever you can to help your team, and, if that's, scoring points, scoring goals, or if it's, doing good things defensively, like whatever that is, you try to do that. So, I think I was pretty fortunate this year with, production-wise, and, every year's not going to be like that, and I know that, but, it was definitely a good start, and I was obviously really happy and thankful for the year. Yeah, absolutely. It's, in terms of hockey, I think, big thing that people don't understand is, if everything outside of hockey is going well, hockey usually does go well. So I was kind of, making sure you're ready as a player, obviously, but, also as a person, you're not just, in college you got all your teammates and you got structure, and now you're going to move to a new city you don't know and live on your own. So there's a lot more that goes into it, I think. He was awesome. I mean, all my coaches, especially Coach Haxtell, they were, awesome all year, pushing me, giving me new things to work on, things like that. So, when you got a coach that, believes in you and, pushes you to be the best you can, it's, you got a good coach. Yeah, I mean, they've been awesome all year. Whether we, we're winning or losing, they were there, they were supporting us. So I think that's the kind of fan base they are, they're there no matter what happens. So I think this is great for them to kind of see the, what this awards and ceremony is all about. But, I think they're the type of fan base that, they'll be there, through thick and thin, Yeah, I mean, it's just keep doing what we're doing. Keep, we've started to really identify a culture in our locker room and our team, and we're just a hard-nosed team, and we're gonna try to outwork anyone we play. So, that's kind of what we've established and what we've had success with, and I think that's just gonna continue. And so, yeah, it definitely prepared me. It kind of gives you a feel of what it is like getting games, playing against these obviously great players. The intensity of the games, how many games you're playing in a week, which is obviously a lot different than Michigan, and probably, a big jump for guys that come to college, how many games you're playing. So you just get a little bit of taste of everything, which is a huge help, especially going into into that summer before you play.
And there you have it. Matty Beniers talking to media. And I love what he said, especially about the Seattle Kraken fan base, that they are loyal through and through. He talked also just a little bit about when life is going well, hockey goes well. And I interpreted that to mean that there's just some freedom to play. It's been really exciting to see Matty blossom, but he knows, as we all do, that this is just the beginning. There's a lot of work to be done still, and it's going to be a challenge. Not every season or season in 10 games is going to be how it was. And we even saw some ebbs and flows in his game. But that being said, I'm super excited to see what happens. Dave Haxtell, probably the most excited I've ever seen him, at least via video, when Matty Beniers was named the Calder Memorial Award winner. Let's run through some of the other awards here. Now, the Jim Montgomery, won the Jack Adams Award for essentially best coach. And of course, we know that our guy, Dave Haxtell, was up for that award. He obviously did not win, but all good. Jack Adams goes to Jim Montgomery. Now, a few Penguins won. You had the Chris Letang winning the Bill Masterson Memorial Trophy. And you also had from the Pittsburgh Penguins, we have Patrice Bergeron, who won the Frank Selke Trophy. Moving on down the list from what the NHL sent, Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers wins the Hart Memorial Trophy. We then have, as I mentioned, Jim Montgomery wins the Jack Adams. The Lady Byng Award goes to Kopitar from the LA Kings. And if you follow Allison Lucan, then she was making a strong case for Matty Beniers to be a finalist. I believe he finished top 5, top 6 perhaps in vote getters, but Kopitar wins it. Continuing on, we have the King Clancy Memorial Trophy goes to Michael Backlund from the Calgary Flames, and that organization kind of feeling like they're up in flames, but that's a different story. Congratulations to Backlund. We have the Mark Messier NHL Leadership Award going to Steven Stamkos of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we continue on with the Ted Lindsay Award. Connor McDavid also takes home the Ted Lindsay Award. Then we move on to the Vezina Trophy for Best Goalie, and that goes to Boston's Linus Ullmark. And we close out with the Willie O'Ree Community Hero Award going to Jason McCrimmon of the Detroit Ice Dreams Youth Hockey Association. Shout out also to Soroya Tinker, who is up for that award. I mentioned it, or in the tease, I mentioned something, but also congratulations to Erik Karlsson, who wins his 3rd James Norris Memorial Trophy. And we're going to talk about Erik Karlsson. I've mentioned it a time or two, but Erik Karlsson has been a part of trade rumors, well, for a while now, especially given where San Jose is. He wants to have a chance to win a championship, and he doesn't feel that with his timeline that he has enough time to do it with the San Jose Sharks. He has a lot of great things to say about Mike Grier. It does sound like the organization is going to work with him, but he feels that he might have a better chance with the time that he has left to make moves. Now, there are a few reasons why the Seattle Kraken makes sense, but there are also reasons that I think are strong enough that maybe this doesn't make sense. And for me, at least, it's not really a salary cap situation, but we will talk about that coming up on this episode of Locked On Kraken. As I mentioned at the top of the show, this episode of Locked on Kraken brought to you by Game Time. Now, Game Time is an app where if you're on the road like I am a lot, you can be in your city or a new city, and you can immediately on the app find something to do around the town that night, whether you want to take in a baseball game, maybe it's during hockey season, or just your favorite theater show. Head over to the Game Time app. Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful, and that's what Game Time does. They give you killer deals on last minute tickets and their best price guarantee, so you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hype for what you'll have in store. Easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in the area that you're in. You get images of your seat. And again, that guarantee is if you find tickets in the same section and row for less, you are going to get a 110% credit of the difference from Game Time. So head to the Game Time app, create an account, use Locked On NHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account on the Game Time app, use Locked On NHL as your promo code. That will get you $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you, as always, for making Locked on Kraken a part of your daily routine. I am Erika Ayala, your host of Locked on Kraken. We have been talking about our mock draft. I told you why maybe my pick wasn't the best statistically, but why I stand by it. And I went for culture, which leads me to have a conversation about Erik Karlsson. Now, since I can remember, and I've been with this podcast since its inception, Erik Karlsson has always been a part of the conversation. Obviously, a 3-time Norris Trophy winner. That's not anything to shrug your shoulders at. 33 years old. And is an offensive defenseman, is a defenseman who can help out on the power play. And isn't that why we went and got Justin Schultz? That's part of the reason why we went with Justin Schultz. But did Justin Schultz give us the scoring that we want, or that we're going to need if we want to make a deeper run than Game 7 in round 2? Just looking at Erik Karlsson from 2022-23, he played 82 games, 25 goals, 76 assists, over 100 points. That sounds nice. He was a minus 26. Don't like that so much. 36 penalty minutes, 5 power play goals, 27 power play points. And so looking at his career, he's averaging, has 178 goals, 583 assists. The minus is not great, which I don't love. But again, plus minus, some people go back and forth on that. Power play goals, 40 on the career, 273 power play points. If you look at the Seattle Kraken, again, he had 27 power play points. Erik Karlsson did this past season for the Seattle Kraken. So Erik Karlsson, 27 power play points. For the Seattle Kraken, the highest defenseman was Vince Dunn with 15 power play points. Those were all assists, no goals. And then only Jared McCann had more power play points. That was 16 power play points overall, 7 of those goals. So Erik Karlsson scoring more than our top scorers on the power play. So that's enticing. I looked at a few different things here. One, if you haven't listened, and I make fun of JD Young all the time because he doesn't believe in defense. He believes defense is for nerds, which, okay, bro, whatever. But go listen to Locked on Sharks. So JD is one of 3 Locked on hosts that we have in Nashville. And so he has a trade idea for Karlsson to Seattle. So Karlsson, he's on contract until 27-28. So basically for another 4 seasons. Again, he's 33 now. So that's 37 years old. the wrong side of 30, as I'm told. He has a family. We'll get to that in a little bit because I do think it's going to play a factor. Similarly to another defenseman who we're going to talk about when it comes to trade rumors. But let's get to Karlsson and then we'll talk about some other people and some other things. Again, 33 years old, 3-time Norris Trophy winner. JD Young of Locked On Sharks is suggesting that Karlsson come to Seattle for our first round pick in 2023, which of course is pick number 20. And that would mean that, or he suggests that the Sharks retain $3 million. So right now, Karlsson's on an 11.5 AAV per year. It's kind of in there, per year is in there. Anyway, 11.5 AAV. So you take that down to 8.5. Is this doable for the Seattle Kraken? Yes, I think numerically it's doable. You can even maybe negotiate that. Do we want to give up a first round draft pick? I mean, we have 10 picks overall. I'm not sure. I feel like we can finagle something a little bit different here. He's a right D, alternate captain. John Barr weighed in. So Sheng Peng is a beat writer for the San Jose Sharks for an independent outlet, but then also for NBC Sports in the Bay Area. And he did this really cool roundup where he asked 10 different media members, and John Barr, 10 different people representing who write about 10 different NHL franchises. And so Sound of Hockey's John Barr weighed in on a potential for Seattle to pick up Karlsson, not necessarily with the particulars that, again, JD Young from Locked On Sharks gave us, but this is what John had to say. On the surface, there is a fit, and he talks about being that PP1 quarterback. But also we hear from other reports that, places like Carolina, Toronto are interested. I thought it was interesting in the Sheng Peng article for NBC that I forget which beat writer it was, but they said Karlsson has to be, quote, that guy. And we don't really have that type of celebrity or ego that comes with Seattle. So going back to my culture fit, is Karlsson a culture fit? I think you can make it work, whether it's the Sharks retain $3 million. Do we give up a first round draft pick? Some people have also attributed perhaps Chris Drieger. So if you listen to JD Young, he picked up a few draft picks in his ideal trades, in his little mock trades, and he does want a goaltender. I've talked to you before. I don't understand what the long-term goal for goaltending is right now for Seattle. I don't understand what it is. I don't think we're getting Jones back, but Jones, and we kind of knew that was a short-term deal. So Drieger in the mix, would that sweeten the pot without having to give up a pick and still having the Sharks retain some salary? Because I do think we're going to want the Sharks to retain salary. I think we're in an okay place, but remember, we're thinking long-term for Vince Dunn. I think that's a good deal for us. We're going to have to renew. We're going to want to keep Matty Beniers. How aggressive do we want to be beyond Erik Karlsson? Because remember, again, 33 years old, air quotes, wrong side of 30, but also he's had injury. Don't like the minus. He gives us more offensive power, which I do think we need defensively on our blue line. Puck moving defenseman, solid. Is he a young puck moving defenseman in the hockey world? Not necessarily. I do think he brings a little gravitas, and is that ego something that can bite us in the butt regarding the culture we're trying to build? He wants to go to a contender. I wonder if there's a way that you can maybe have him fit in. He would stay on the West Coast. He has a family. His children are young enough. They've grown up in San Jose. When he was traded there, started a family there. He thanked his wife and all of the things that she does when he's not around in his Norris speech. So that was really kind, I thought. And I think he's being upfront about what is realistic for him. The question, of course, becomes, does Karlsson think that Seattle is a big enough draw? Are we in that timeline that he has for a championship, to be a true contender? I think our second round, getting to the second round and our second round appearance, I think that does make a case. I think getting someone like Karlsson perhaps strengthens that case. But are we going to need to do more than just bring him in? Like, that can't be the only thing, I think. I don't know if we have enough. It depends for me if Karlsson believes in the philosophy that's being built in Seattle. But some people don't think he fits into the philosophy in Seattle. I don't know him well enough to make that judgment. All I can say is I thought he had a very dapper suit, and he had some wonderful spectacles when he spoke to media the day of the awards ceremony. If he has an ego, I'm not saying ego is bad, and I think we could use some swag. I also said we need sandpaper. Does Erik Karlsson give us enough sandpaper? I'd have to think about it. I'm open to the idea. And just as Erik Karlsson keeps telling media he's open to a trade, I'm open to this trade. I had heard about this trade for the last 2 years, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if the money is right. I don't know if the timing is right. I think we're getting closer to the timing being right. Do we have to make it in the off season? He does want to get the deal done sooner rather than later. And that goes to someone else that we talked about, and that's Carson Soucy. So coming up next, I want to bring Carson Soucy into the fold because we have some news about Seuss. Once again, I want to thank you for making Locked on Kraken a part of your daily routine. We are available 5 days a week in the regular season, and we're almost in our off season. We're going to start our off season in July, where we'll move to a minimum of 3 days a week, but we'll get you through the draft. Then we'll go down to 3 days a week, but we're always free. We're always available on your audio platforms and, of course, on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. I'm using a new backdrop. Same room. I just tilted towards to get some more natural light. Anyway, Carson Soucy. We hear from Frank Saravelli and a few others who have been reporting something that, again, we've heard for at least, 6 to 8 months. And really going back to last year, Carson Soucy and the Seattle Kraken, I think, have amicably decided to let Soucy walk into free agency. Their conversations, from the reporting that I've seen, have been, I suppose, amicable enough, but they couldn't come to an agreement. Does that mean that Soucy's gone for good? I mean, I guess he could find his way back to the negotiating table after he kind of sees what else is out there. I think we're okay, though, to move on from Carson Soucy. And here's the thing, and we should head to Cap Friendly for this, but the reason that Soucy wants to get this done sooner rather than later, and same thing with Erik Karlsson, is because they have children. And Soucy and his partner are expecting, if I remember correctly, but Karlsson, wants to have his children settled before you have to get going for the season. He wants to be able to help his wife to settle things. And that really means that as early into free agency as possible, you want to have your family knowing where they're going. So it's looking like we won't have Soucy. He was able to play left and right D. Karlsson is a right D, which I think it was maybe John or someone else in that NBC article mentioned, is that a challenge? Can we figure that out? Probably. I do think we need a little bit more of a splashy name and a more elite level player. I think Jared McCann was amazing for us, but we don't have We have solid and I'd say above average and perfect for our system type defenders. I think we still need some dynamic scoring to come from somewhere. Now, is Karlsson as a defender where we want to get that? Do we think we could find a forward that's maybe younger that gives us, even if we are spending around the same, that gives us more time? I do think, though, our 3 to 5 year plan, we're in year 2 of a 3 to 5 year plan. I think that could fit into what Karlsson wants to do. So I don't know. But just as I was getting ready to wrap this episode, of course, naturally, the schedule, the NHL schedule dropped. And so I had seen that we're going to be in Florida in October for their homestand, their early homestand. But we have a home opener for the Seattle Kraken. This is coming from the NHL and their media list that they send their little listserv out. And so the home opener, I'm going to pull this up for you, for the Seattle Kraken is going to be Tuesday, October 17th. Oh, versus Colorado. We're taking on the Colorado Avalanche. So that'll be fun. Of course, we also know that we have the Winter Classic. I've showed you the logo for the Winter Classic. Here it is right there again, instead of my face. Skadoosh, there you go. And so we'll see what else the schedule looks like, but that's the home opener. So now you have it. And so we're going to close out our show there. Carson Soucy looks like we're moving on from him. Erik Karlsson, a lot of people still saying that Seattle is in the mix. Karlsson will have to essentially approve wherever he goes and his clause, his trade clause. He said he is trying to work with the Sharks. He has a lot of respect for the organization. It reminds me of Mark Giordano in season 1 for us. And Giordano and Karlsson have been falling into kind of this pecking order of defenders that are really solid, and I like that for us. I think we need that for us. Is it the right time? I think the timing is the question. Obviously, it's the big question for Karlsson. It's the question for us. And in the beginning of the show, we talked about Matty Beniers. Congratulations to Matty Beniers on winning the Calder Memorial Award. We're so proud of you. We're so thankful that you're ours. And again, remember, any trades or long-term contracts that we make, we have to keep the future in mind. And Matty Beniers squarely is our future as far as I'm concerned. I could be open to Chris Driedger for Karlsson or someone else, Driedger in play. That means we do put a lot of faith in Joey Daccord. And I like it. I think he's earned a little bit more of a look. But is that the tandem with Philip Grubauer and Joey Daccord? I'm not completely sold on it. But I guess we'll see how it all pans out. Tomorrow is the NHL draft day 1. I will be in and out. I have family coming to visit over the weekend, so I will do my best. But we will have episodes up throughout the rest of the week, and we'll dissect what our draft picks look like. Until our next episode, be kind to yourselves and to each other. Hold fast, stay true, and let's go Kraken. I'll see you on the next episode.